Hello everyone. It seems that Lewis has made another video to me. I can already foresee how stupid this is gonna be. And I really didn't even want to respond to this. I don't want to watch this.
Fascists of today will call themselves anti-fascists.
Oh Jesus, this is stupid. Okay, the intro is so horrible that it always makes me laugh and cringe. I mean, I suppose the video is called Robert Mugabe's Fourth Reich. So I assume that because Raven said that you were racist because you were so anti-Mugabe and so anti-Zimbabwe. Therefore, Lewis is implying that, you know, because we said that he's racist, therefore we are anti-fascists, but we're only pretending to be anti-fascists because, according to him, if somebody calls themselves an anti-fascist, that makes them a fascist, which makes absolutely no sense. Of course, the most ironic thing here is that Lewis is implying that because I'm an anti-fascist, therefore I'm supposedly a fascist. The most funny thing is that people like him usually are like Pinochet supporters, Batista supporters, sometimes they support Franco, sometimes even Mussolini. So, and you know, Thatcher, the friend of Pinochet. So, again, you guys are literally fascist supporters, so that's why this is just so stupid.
Hi, this is Luis Moreno. Remember when I made that video debunking the Finnish Bolshevik? Well,
Yeah, it was fucking stupid.
he responded back to me with this revolting response.
Revolting, okay.
Okay, hello everybody, I'm responding to
Is this music necessary?
Lewis's video now.
Just as expected, instead of debunking me, told me
Oh, what the fuck is this? Oh god, this is so dumb.
and his friend Zach resorted to ad hominem attacks.
Libertarian tries to...
Why the fuck do you, like, that's fucking fantastic. Okay, fuck you. I mean, last time too, you were saying some like homophobic bullshit. You were like, oh, is he your boyfriend? Like, if he was, would there be something wrong with that? I mean, no, he isn't, but what the fuck is that? Like, fuck you, you're a despicable human being.
Capitalism, he like has capitalist flags and all that. It just doesn't work.
This fedora just makes it worse.
It's so true, though. Like, what the fuck is with these capitalist flags? You have capitalist flags and a fedora. I mean, it's horrible. This is like a parody.
And pointing out leftist conspiracy theories.
In the late 20s, when
Conspiracy theories? Okay, this has to be good.
they first started the grain procurements, Bukharin said that they wouldn't work, but they
How is this a conspiracy? What?
actually worked really well, so that's why they started using them.
How is that a conspiracy? Every history, like even Western history books say that. Where's the conspiracy?
I wasn't planning to make another video disproving him about the Holodomor, simply because I'm saving my knowledge for another video. I am talking about you, Comrade Pharaoh. Also, I was
Okay.
planning to make part 2.
I mean, I'm sure that your response to Pharaoh will be equally stupid to your other videos.
Based on the Winter Wars. But after watching
Oh, you're gonna talk to me about the Winter War? Okay. You don't know shit. You call it the Winter Wars. It was one war. You stupid motherfucker. You know, it was 2 wars, but only one of them was called the Winter War.
in their video response, they called me a racist simply because I was mentioning the white genocide in Zimbabwe.
Oh god, this is so stupid that it hurts my head. Jesus Christ, man. That's literally what Nazis say. You don't see that? That is literally what Nazis say. Oh, how unreasonable. They called me or implied that I was racist because I said some Nazi shit. How unreasonable. Like, there's literally this fascist group in Finland that goes around like putting these silly stickers on everywhere that say, oh, you know, stop the white genocide in Zimbabwe. I mean, no, actually they said in South Africa, but that's equally bad. I mean, South Africa and Rhodesia, which became Zimbabwe, were both like, you know, white apartheid states. So now that they're no longer apartheid states, the whites just control everything. Now they're crying and whining like, oh, it's white genocide. Like, fuck off. These poor white landowners are now, like, some people are mad at them, some people want them to pay reparations or something, and you're like, oh, that's so racist, that white genocide, why do you call me racist?
Not only that, but also defend and glorify Robert Mugabe. That's right.
When did we even do that? We didn't do that.
They defended Black Hitler.
Black Hitler? I mean, we didn't even say anything about Mugabe.
Still the Hitler of the time. This Hitler has only one objective: justice for his people, sovereignty for his people. If that is Hitler right, then let me be a Hitler tenfold.
Okay, unfortunate choice of words, maybe. You know, we've all heard this argument before. It's like, okay, you call me a Nazi. Well, if being a Nazi means that I'm doing the right thing, if that to you is being a Nazi, then I'm a Nazi. I mean, it's a stupid argument to make, but I can understand why he would make that argument. To say that he's actually like Hitler because of that comment is ridiculous. The most ridiculous thing is that this whole argument is built on a total straw man, because we never even defended Mugabe. I mean, I don't think he's fucking Black Hitler or something, but we literally didn't say anything about him. So Lewis's entire argument falls like a house of cards. It's totally baseless.
Let the stupidity begin.
Poor Whitey.
Your stupidity has already begun. I mean, yeah, we laughed at you because your argument is so stupid that it only warrants mockery. Like, your argument is so stupid that we literally laughed out loud when we heard it. But as I said, your argument is literally what Nazis say, actual Nazis. And then you wonder why we implied you were being racist, and why we thought that it was so incredible that you even said that.
Oh, and I'm the fucking Nazi here.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Since you both support a mass-killing dictator who actually compares himself to Adolf Hitler, and since Tony
Come the fuck on.
and Zach are Slavophobic leftists,
We are what? Did you say Slavophobic? How? Don't anti-communists usually tell people to move to Russia? That's the first time somebody has called me Slavophobic. Usually they tell me I'm like a Russophile or something, that I just love Russia.
Apartheid supporting pieces of shit get kicked off their land, which is a horrible idea because it causes famine and is bad for society as a whole.
really? Apartheid
Really? Yes, exactly.
supporters being kicked off their land. Let's look at an actual victim of Robert Mugabe's land reform program.
Well, in case you noticed, the apartheid-supporting white landowners, to some degree, have been kicked off their land. Not all of them, but to some degree they have. So yes, that is what happened. First it was an apartheid state, and now it's not. So obviously something has had to happen.
This is Ben Fria, a white Zimbabwean farmer. He was one of the thousands of farmers that had their land confiscated by the government. Ben and his father-in-law, Mike Campbell, filed a lawsuit against Mugabe's land reform in an international court, which they won. Unfortunately, their farm was burned to the ground, and Mike Campbell was killed by government thugs. Now,
Yeah, here's the thing. Don't you understand that this is Africa? As far as I know, black people live in Africa. Black people are from Africa. I mean, we're all technically from Africa if we go back long enough. But, you know, this guy is of European descent. The black people are of African descent. So you don't understand that. Like, how do you think this European guy came to own African land? Because his relatives, his ancestors went there, stole the land, you know, killed the natives, and set up this horrible apartheid regime. That's how all these white landowners even have even come into this position of owning land in fucking Africa, where they're not from originally. Sure, like, I don't have a problem with the white, you know, settlers being kicked out. I really don't. It's a bit extreme to kick, like, if it's like a small farmer or a middle-sized farmer, to, you know, kick him out. It's a bit extreme, but I can't really seriously oppose it, because they're settlers. They came there illegally, stole your land, you know, okay, they want to take the land back. I mean, what could you possibly say as a counter-argument? Except say, oh, white genocide, boo-hoo. The sad thing here is that the apartheid regime and the apartheid system has created such racial hatred between, you know, the two groups, that there's all this violence. Like, okay, they kick him out, but because he refuses to leave, then some random people just, you know, attack him because they're angry at him. Like, you know, that's unfortunate. It really is unfortunate, and I'm not really justifying it. But then again, it is, you know, I say that I'm not justifying it, but to be honest, it is kind of justified. I mean, I'm not saying the violence is justified, the spontaneous violence of people who are just angry. I'm just saying that the anger is justified. They're angry that these white people come there, steal their land, and then, you know, when they try to drive them away, they fail to drive them away, so they're angry. But this is just a total straw man to say that I support everything every random person in Zimbabwe does. I never said that I support Mugabe's policies. I never said that I support, like, any of this shit. I just said that you know, I've already stated my case. I don't need to repeat myself.
listen carefully.
What the fuck is this shit? Africa needs capitalism? Like, Africa doesn't have enough capitalism for you? Okay, and you know, well, okay. Like, Africa is entirely capitalist.
Because what Ben is going to say contradicts Tony's claims.
Okay, this white guy who was driven off his land that he stole from these people is, you know, has another opinion. Well, how surprising is that? Like, I'm sure that if you asked the black guys, they would say the complete opposite thing, so I don't see what this proves.
We were very involved in trying to help in our community around us. You know, we had various competitions that we were running amongst the black farmers on neighboring farms in the small-scale commercial area, where we were trying to teach them some of the skills that we had. We had black commercial farmers as well next door, and we were...
You know, I'm not saying that black people and white people couldn't, like, exist together in peace in these societies that used to be owned by white apartheid supporters. I'm not saying that that can't theoretically happen, but, you know, it's easy to understand why excesses would be carried out. But seriously, like, look at this guy. Do you really think that this guy is some poor man who really just earnestly opposed Rhodesian policy? No. He was like all of these people. They weren't these horrible white supremacist Nazis who were just actively supporting Rhodesia and were like, yeah, we are, you know, the Übermensch and the blacks are just totally subhuman. No, most of them weren't like that. But most of the white people were passively in support of apartheid and passively in support of Rhodesia. They were like, yeah, well, you know, situation is not too bad for us, so we don't want to challenge it. We don't want to change anything. So it's still the same thing. Now they're like expecting everyone to just be merciful towards them and be like, you know, I didn't fight against apartheid, I didn't fight against racism, and now I don't want to do anything else. I just want to be, you know, continue my nice lifestyle. But no, sorry, I mean, poor people are angry at you for good reason.
Involved,
I mean, don't act so surprised, basically, is what I'm saying.
with trying to build a multicultural society where we'd all be able to go forward together.
Oh yeah, sure. That's what the white people were always trying to do, just build a society where everyone can go, like, work together and be equal. Like, sure, in fucking Rhodesia and fucking apartheid South Africa, are you kidding me?
Our black farm workers, obviously, we were trying to uplift them
We were trying to uplift them. Like, what the fuck is this ridiculous bullshit?
at the same time.
What, are they supposed to keep the whiteys in there?
Yeah, there's.
Yeah, are they supposed to fucking keep the whiteys in there? They came in, they stole their land. Isn't it reasonable to want it back? I mean, Jesus fucking Christ.
Young settlers.
I repeat myself, but I'm saying that, yeah, okay, it's some small farmer. It's not necessary to kick every small farmer out of there, and they, you know, they haven't.
In that logic, all Slavs should move to Denmark because Russia belongs to native Siberian tribes, such as the Kyrgyz, that got their land stolen by the Russian Empire. Going back to
That's so stupid.
Zimbabwe, white
really? Like, people use this same people use an argument somewhat similar to this when it comes to the United States. They say that, you know, the Americans came in there, they stole all the land, they slaughtered all the natives, and then people say that, oh, they should give the land back, but nobody seriously says that they should all just leave. Because that's not practical. Nobody really thinks that every non-Native American person should just leave the US, because that's, you know, it's not going to happen. The reasonable position would be to demand self-determination for all nationalities, so that, okay, this is an area where Native Americans live, so they should be able to control that area. They run things. They control their own destiny. Similarly, okay, there's an area where black people live because they were brought there as slaves. So, okay, they control their own destiny. Similarly, you know, there's white people. They control their own destiny. But first of all, Russia is not even the same thing. The United States example is a fairly extreme example, because it's literally just a bunch of white people on a boat who go there, kill everyone, and steal their land. In Russia, it's different, because it happened much more organically, lasted much longer. It's not like a bunch of white Europeans just go there who are totally alien to the entire continent of the Americas. No. And besides, not all Russia is Siberia, so that doesn't even make sense, really. But even if it was the same case as the United States, it's still even more extreme when you look at Zimbabwe. Because that shit happened pretty recently. It wasn't like, oh, you know, the colonization of the Americas. That was a long time ago. The settling of Russia happened really long ago. But Zimbabwe, I mean, that was really recently. So you can't just say that. I mean, what is it even that you're suggesting? What are you suggesting?
African stolen by the Russian Empire. Going back to Zimbabwe, white Africans were born in Zimbabwe, they were raised in Zimbabwe, and they adopted African traditions in Zimbabwe.
I mean, my face when cultural appropriation, I mean, not even gonna go there, but, like, really, this is your argument? Don't you understand that these white people literally went there to oppress these other people, and they did that for, you know, multiple generations? Just because these people were born there doesn't change anything. They still are the ancestors of evil colonizers, and they were actively participating, or, you know, actively or passively supporting the continuation of that colonizer system. So it's not like this is immigration or something. It's fucking colonialism. Literal colonialism that you're defending.
Are you trying to say that even if white people lived in Zimbabwe most of their lives, they are not considered Zimbabwean?
Well, are you kidding me? They're colonizers. Colonialists. This is actual old school colonialism here that you're defending. I can't believe you. But yes, they should be allowed to live there. Just hand over the fucking money that you have stolen from Zimbabwe. Hand over the land that your ancestors stole. Hand over all the assets that have been created out of this horrible apartheid regime that, you know, made white people rich and black people poor. That's what they're saying. That's what they want.
And should move out of the country. Since Zach lives in America,
Oh, like, I can't believe you. This is so absurd.
and he has European descent, and I
Oh, you're actually gonna go there. Well, okay.
have Native American ancestry, then
Fucking you don't. That, I mean, I can't tell. Literally, I can't tell just by looking at you, but that's literally this classic American bullshit where, you know, there's this joke that every American white kid is like, oh, I'm like 164th part, like Cherokee or something. I'm sure Raven has just as much Native American, you know, genes as you, which is 0.
I have the right to say, get out of my land, Zach.
This is cringeworthy, holy fucking shit. I mean, no, self-determination, you stupid fuck.
This is my
But, I mean, he doesn't fucking understand what self-determination is. I don't know why I'm even bothering.
homeland.
Oh my fucking god.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like Africans should control their own fucking economies.
Do you really think that Robert Mugabe is allowing Africans to control their economy? Let's hear.
Well, as far as it's possible in capitalism, I mean, you got me there. There is capitalism in Zimbabwe, so therefore, yeah, you're right. They don't really properly control their own economy because they don't have socialism. But, you know, they don't have the IMF, so they don't have an international bourgeoisie controlling their economy. They just have a national bourgeoisie. That's the difference. But it's still better.
What Ben has to say.
The big problem with the land distribution program that was taking place is that they were not giving, where the state was actually buying the land as opposed to black commercial farmers.
Well, okay. So they're complaining about, oh, it's state capitalism instead of small petty bourgeois capitalism. I don't give a fuck. I seriously couldn't give less of a fuck.
The state was not giving ownership to the new people on the land, so they weren't getting any kind of title, they weren't getting any kind of property rights. And so this myth of independence that took place.
I don't even, like, why is this targeted at me. It's not like I'm some big Zimbabwe expert and a big Zimbabwe fan, because I'm not. I literally didn't even defend Zimbabwe. I just said that it's ridiculous for you to whine and complain and talk about white genocide, which again, literally is a Nazi argument, because Nazis say it. God damn.
In 1980, on the land.
Not only did Robert Mugabe deny land ownership,
I still can't believe what I'm watching. Like, I'm literally watching a video where somebody is saying that the white people who had their fortunes taken away in Rhodesia, that they are victims. I can't believe this.
to blacks and whites, his land reform program is causing mass unemployment.
Farm workers actually obviously didn't want these people to come and invade. They'd seen what happens to all their friends on neighboring farms when these invasions have taken place.
So it's an invasion. Okay. Well, why did you go there and why did you steal their land? I mean, you don't look like an African. That should tell you something.
And how all their friends were now without...
How did all these white people just end up controlling all the land in Africa? You know, but when the Africans want their land back, then oh, it's an invasion, it's white genocide. I literally cannot believe this fucking video.
And was pretty savage. One of our workers was thrown into a fire, another they actually smashed his skull, another they abducted from his home and beat his feet very savagely. But you know, so, a lot of our farm workers are still on the farm.
Again, like, okay, if we're taking this guy's word for it, and he has every possible motivation to lie, so I'm not even gonna take him for, take his word for it, but even if we were, here we have a white capitalist who owns a, like, he starts by saying, oh, I'm just a small farmer, then it shows his farm where he has at least a dozen black guys working for him, and he's like, oh, our workers like it there, and like, you don't think there's anything strange about this dynamic that exists, that these white people just happen to control all the land and just employ black people, when black people should control their own land? There's a bunch of white people who own the land and just use the blacks as cheap labor. You don't see anything weird about that. I mean, these white capitalists are the victims.
Like, why did you have to inject this in just to say, hey, you didn't think I was racist before? Well, now you know for sure.
You kidding me?
Exactly. I mean, I still don't understand. Why did you have to inject that? This has... Remember, the original video was about the Holodomor. Then randomly he's just talking about Zimbabwe and white genocide. Apart from being a Nazi in other ways, he's like, Ukrainian Nazis say this, and I agree wholeheartedly. Ukrainian Nazis are victims. Ukrainian Nazis are victims. Boo-hoo. And also, I oppose white genocide, and I support Rhodesia. Like, why did you even bring up Zimbabwe in the first place?
They're basically calling me a racist, despite there's no evidence to prove that.
Well, we've already been through this.
I'm against segregation. I believe in equal rights for all
I mean, well, okay.
people. I admire Martin Luther King and many other African Americans.
You know, this is right-wing idealist bullcrap, okay? Like, he says, oh, I want nominally equal rights. So, you know, black people can own land, white people can own land, black people are protected by police, white people are protected by the police. Except, you know, that might be the law, but that's not reality. In Rhodesia, white people own everything. Don't you understand? If we look at the United States, it's illegal for a police officer to just randomly kill a black person, but they still can basically do it. They don't get in trouble for doing that. So it's basically, even though it's not actually legal, it's practically legal to just execute black people on the streets in the US. So that's the problem with this liberal notion of equality. Because you don't want real equality, you just want nominal, theoretical, legal equality of rights. You don't want actual material equality. Because, you know, that would be communism, so that's evil, according to you, even though, yeah, whatever.
In history. And they simply calling me a racist.
And, you know, motherfuckers like you, they admire Martin Luther King. They admire Martin Luther King. The only reason you say that is because it's popular. Like, the right wing likes to take these examples of people. They like to use people like Gandhi and MLK and even Nelson Mandela after the fact. They're like, first, MLK wants equality, so they fucking kill him. They literally killed him. But then after he's dead, then they're like, oh, we admire his ideas and his contributions. If MLK would still be alive today, you would fucking despise him. Right-wingers would despise him. Similarly, like Nelson Mandela. When Mandela was alive, the CIA called him a terrorist. They put him in fucking jail. They, you know, he was on the CIA terror watch list. If he was still alive, and if he didn't succeed in doing what he did, you would be calling him a Stalinist, you would be calling him a terrorist. But because he actually succeeded in getting in power and ending apartheid, which is, and apartheid is just indefensible, you cannot defend it. So therefore, you know, right-wingers they're forced to say, oh, we admire Nelson Mandela's, you know, legacy, and then they say that, oh, we admire him because he was peaceful, even though that's totally bullshit. He wasn't fucking peaceful. He was peaceful because he was in jail, basically. Can't really be violent when you're in jail.
Simply for pointing out the fact that there is a white genocide in Zimbabwe.
White genocide? Are you fucking kidding me? You know, at most it would be a bunch of angry black people breaking white people's shit and assaulting them. But not fucking genocide.
And I'm not the only one who acknowledged that.
Yes, you're not. Literally, Nazis have been saying that shit for a long time. They've been saying that shit since the fall of apartheid.
Fact.
And pretty much nobody else. Except Nazis, you, and then, you know, other far-right people, and then white landowners in South Africa and Zimbabwe.
Nobel Prize winner Desmond Tutu, a civil rights activist who fought with Nelson Mandela against apartheid in South Africa. Now listen what...
Destroyed a wonderful country.
You know, I wouldn't trust anyone who has actually won the Nobel Peace Prize, by the way. I mean, basically, Zimbabwe doesn't have IMF, it's anti-American, basically, it's anti-imperialist. Therefore, they get anyone who is like a comprador to just attack him. So what is this racist shit anyway? You're like, oh, look, a black guy doesn't like him, therefore I'm not racist. Even though that's the most stereotypical shit that right-wing racists always do. Republicans, they always have like the one Asian guy attacking Asians, one woman attacking women, one black guy attacking black people. The problem with Mugabe is that he's too much of a capitalist, too much of a right-winger, too much of a, you know, all those things. Bourgeois nationalist. That's his problem. That's the real problem with Mugabe. But the thing is, there was no, you know, perfect, peaceful, democratic, liberal candidate or a socialist candidate, like a perfect socialist candidate who opposes the US and wants to, you know, have socialist economy. No, it was either fucking Rhodesia or Mugabe. Pick your poison. So, you know, I'm sticking with Mugabe. Thank you very much. This kind of nonsense about, oh, it used to be a breadbasket. It was fucking Rhodesia. It was fucking, like, are you mental? Jesus Christ, man. Just think what it was before. Because they're making it seem like it was just wonderful before Mugabe.
You are going to face indictment in The Hague unless you step down.
Zimbabwe is now a basket case.
I mean, this is the same thing that, you know, people say about South Africa. They're like, oh, look, there's like social unrest, there's corruption, there's poverty, there's you know, there's unrest and you know, all this, there's crime. But like, yeah, but before it was fucking apartheid. Like, there's the system that exists now is not perfect, but what existed before was not better. You stupid fuck! You can't actually say that what existed before was better, and there's no third alternative. It's either this or it's what they had before.
That Robert Mugabe's policies are responsible for the massive famine in Zimbabwe.
Yeah, I mean, it can be prosperous, but people...
Again, like, this is like when people complain about revolutions. If you have a horrible, horrible regime, and then there's a movement, a revolution against it, and it leads to a destructive civil war, then people say, oh, look now, because of the civil war, everything's blown to shit, so therefore, revolution is wrong. No, because what they had before was horrible. It needs to be overthrown. And that kind of struggle creates destruction. You know, it leads to social unrest, economic unrest, destruction of productive forces, collapse of industry sometimes economic depression, you know, sometimes even famine, or at least food shortages. But it's totally idiotic to blame it on the victims who are rebelling against the horrible apartheid regime. You know, if you want to blame this social unrest and this economic unrest that is being caused by the struggle against apartheid, then blame it on apartheid. Don't blame it on the victims of apartheid. I mean, this is why you're a racist.
Since the end of African colonialism, the majority of Africans live in extreme poverty, despite being surrounded by limitless amounts of resources. But when has socialism improved?
Okay, what kind of a crazy argument is that? You don't think Africa is... I mean, when I said that Africa has been looted, I wasn't talking about the 1800s, I was talking about today. Today. Now you're saying that, oh, colonialism is over, but Africans are still poor. So what is your argument? I mean, my argument is that Africans are still poor because Africa is still owned by the West, even if it's not classical colonialism, overt colonialism, open colonialism. Now, it's neo-colonialism.
It failed in Ethiopia, it failed in Somalia.
The reason socialism failed in Ethiopia and Somalia was because they never had socialism. They had a revolutionary government which was defeated. That's it. If you want to see actual socialism in practice, like socialist policies, socialist economy, then look at Burkina Faso. It was a success for you know, as long as it lasted. I mean, it only lasted for 4 years until the president was assassinated, you know, by capitalism supporters. But during that time, it was very successful. How the fuck do you even attack socialism for not working when literally the reason that socialism hasn't worked in Africa is because all the socialist governments were fucking killed by Western imperialists? That's literally the reason. But of course it's socialism's fault. You know, they just walked in front of the line of fire of capitalism. It was a pure accident. I mean, the capitalists had nothing to do with it.
path should Africa take? And the answer is the free market. The reason why Africa
Yeah, okay, that's fucking brilliant.
today is so poor is because, one, most African nations are ruled by corrupt dictatorships.
You're so deluded. You're so deluded, it's crazy. Don't you understand that the reason there are these corrupt dictators is because they're called comprador capitalists. That's literally what they're called, comprador capitalists. They're capitalists who are telling the West that, okay, you, the West, you help me and my cronies to stay in power, and as in exchange, we will allow Western corporations to come in and take over everything and exploit my people and control the markets, control the economy. That's what they do.
But there is one African nation that discovered the right path, and that nation is Mauritius.
Hallelujah. What? What was the country's name?
Mauritius is an island nation that is located 674
Oh, okay.
miles from
So is this like some tax haven where like 200 people live?
Madagascar. Once a French colony, it gained its independence in 1960.
I mean, some of the policies that they have, like social safety nets and stuff like that, they don't even sound very libertarian. But the big thing to note here is that this is a country of like 1 million people. It's 5 times, almost 6 times smaller than Finland. It's some tiny island. Like I don't know if this is really very representative.
Not compete with the freedom of the free market.
The freedom of
Before I go,
This is like a parody of libertarianism. You are a parody of yourself. Holy shit, man. This is cringeworthy.
I'm gonna say a message to the Finnish Bolshevik.
You're gonna
if
what?
Homie's watching this, I challenge you
You challenge me?
and your boyfriend Zach to a live debate.
What the fuck is that shit? I mean, this is just some weird ass, like, homophobic bullshit. What the fuck? Fuck you. You're a despicable human being. You know, I'm saying it again.
I challenge you and your boyfriend.
First of all, it would be a total... We would annihilate you. Holy shit, man. I mean, are you serious? You're actually doing this? You're actually challenging me to a live debate? Maybe. Kinda depends. I mean, I have better things to do. I have other things to do. Plus, there's probably like an 8-hour time difference. Because I live on the other side of the globe. So that's always a problem. There's always a problem when me and Raven try to make a video together. So maybe, but I'm just kind of thinking that I've seen your live shit and it's fucking horrendous. I don't necessarily want to be a part of that.
If you think you're so intelligent, then debate me live in my channel. This is
Why do you want this? What could it possibly add? Because I have destroyed you in every video. What difference is it gonna make if we do it live or not?
Luis Morero,
I just think it's gonna be inconvenient.
signing off.
You know, I'm not usually this arrogant. I don't usually say, oh, I've destroyed you. But with Luis, it's true. With Luis, anyone can destroy him.